What do you call a polar bear on roller skates?
Polar skater.
A roller bear.
The other guy is doing fantastic right now. It's just be fun.
All right, we are here. This is our first episode of
Roller Skate Stories.
All right, you got that right. Good job.
Jake.
All right, obviously we don't know what we're doing, but we're doing it anyway.
And we're doing it very well.
Well, yeah, so far. No promises. Okay? So but we're gonna talk to roller skaters. We're gonna see them in action, and the results are gonna be golden, right?
That's for them to decide.
That's for them to decide. But first, I got a little trivia question for you.
Okay.
Are you ready?
Let's do it.
All right. When were roller skates invented?
Is there like a multiple choice?
All right. Multiple choice. 4 AD.
Oh, what?
211 AD. 1760. Or 1964. Time is running out.
1760.
There you go. See?
That sounds like a reasonable number.
You got it. So I got to take my glasses off for this. Belgian inventor John Joseph Merlin develops an inline skate with two wheels in 1760.
He was a rollerblader. He
was a rollerblader, that's right. But apparently what he did was they had ice skates at the time, and he just was like, I can put wheels on that. And he did.
Can we edit that to make it seem like it was a roller skate story first?
Our editing is not that sophisticated. All right. Anyway, we're rambling. Let's get on with it, because today's show is going to feature Darion Reyes. We are starting off on the right skate.
I like that.
How'd you like that? Huh?
Pun intended.
Pun intended.
There you go.
On our very first episode of Roller Skate Stories.
Love it.
And we have with us today a living roller skate legend, Darion Reyes.
Hello. Thanks for having me.
Thanks for being here. We really appreciate you coming down. So,
Great intro.
thank you. I appreciate that. So you skated with Usher in Las Vegas during his live shows.
Yes.
And, it gets even better, you went on tour with Dua Lipa.
I did.
So I know there's some stories there, and we're going to get to those in just a minute. But
Okay.
I want to back up all the way to the beginning. Yeah. When did you first put on roller skates?
Honestly, my first time roller skating, are we talking about the very first time?
Yeah.
The very first time I ever touched a roller skate in my life was definitely, I was 5 years old. I was enrolled in a daycare somewhere in Phoenix, and they had like one of those daycare field trips, right?
Yeah.
And so at first, what's funny is I don't come from much, so my parents couldn't give me the money to go to the skating rink, so I was the most bummed out person in that entire daycare. All I wanted to do was be there with all of my friends from daycare and roll around and do whatever they do at a roller rink, right? And so almost didn't make it. 11th hour, mom comes through with $10. Boom, I'm in. You know what I mean? I'm in.
That's
and so
crazy.
I went, put skates on my feet, hated it. Could not stand up, hit the wall every time. I couldn't turn. I had no idea what I was doing. And so it definitely wasn't a story of like, oh, I was born with a pair of roller skates on. No, it was definitely a lot of work that went in to get to the level that I'm at.
That is
For
awesome.
sure. But
So
yeah,
that gives me hope.
yeah, for sure.
It gives a lot of people hope.
100%.
That's insane.
Yeah, man. I mean, I didn't
Hated
start off with natural rhythm. I had to learn so much in such a short span of time that it was just, yeah, that was my first
So
time.
when did you start loving it?
I fell in love with it maybe around 11 years old, 12 years old, when I used to go to Great Skate all the time. I was a regular there, went through their skating lessons program, everything, because that was my babysitter at that age. And so fast forward a little bit, wasn't really feeling it too much. I wasn't into the dance stuff yet, you know. So one day I go to a roller rink and someone does a handstand on skates, and I say, what is that, right? And then a little bit later on in the session, he does a back handspring, and I'm like, okay, come on, man. Like, seriously? Like, we're all just trying to have a good time here. You don't have to one-up us, you know what I mean? But like, yeah, that was the moment where I saw something where I was like, I feel like I can do something like that.
So at some point, you began working at Rollero, right?
Yes, yeah. I was 13, 14 years old, youngest floor guard in history at Rollero. And yeah, my dad was a Rollero floor guard as well.
Legend through and through.
Yeah, for sure.
Let's go.
But yeah, my dad was a floor guard there.
Really?
Back in the 80s or,
Okay.
you know, late 80s, early 90s, whatever. And so I'm kind of, you know, just grandfathered into the Rollero family, and they trusted me at such a young age, and that was,
you know.
yeah, that was my first job, man. First job ever.
That's where I met you.
It is.
And for those who don't know, Rollero was a rink here in Phoenix. It was great, had a wooden floor. It was built in the 1960s, a little bit older than me, I think, which is ancient. But I loved it just because I love old buildings and I love skating, so this is like the best of both worlds.
Right.
But, long story short, one night, literally, the roof caved in. It was one of those big dome roofs, and the owner used to kind of let it go, and I remember he would put out buckets when it was raining on the floor, and we would skate around those buckets.
Yep,
Yeah.
buckets and cones, that was the way.
And did you tell me that you used to work on the roof on occasion?
Yep, definitely spent many summer days up there trying to work on the swamp coolers or change the little filters out, or, you know, did a lot of stuff on there, and little did I know that could have been the demise of this all.
Man, yeah. I skated there that evening, and the session ended at normal time, everybody left, and about an hour later, the whole thing just caved in. It could have been a disaster.
Yeah, definitely. I was currently living in Los Angeles at the time, whenever that night happened, but for some strange reason, both of my parents separately stopped by the rink that night, almost as if something told them, like, yo,
Last time.
go see it for the last time, because I can't. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, it was definitely the higher power being working through them. So yeah, I mean, thankfully nobody was hurt in that catastrophe, but boy, do I miss my home.
Yeah,
What a story.
So this is you and Fireball and some others at Rollero right now skating. And one thing that I wanted to bring my camera to capture was you guys were so syncopated, right?
Yeah.
Did you come up with all those routines on your own?
Not at all, man.
No?
So some of them were made, but like a generation before I entered Rollero. So that was kind of how Fireball skated with others already. And then, you know, intensively being more active on Rollero's schedule, me and Fireball always used to work together. And so do we want to help kids up for 5 hours at a time, or do we want to like catch our little moments and pockets to just make some little moves up? And then it just so happened that because of my dance background, I know how to copy body language and the way that people move. And so I just kind of knew to fall in line with the steez or the style that he did it. And, you know, the rest is history.
Yeah, it was. It was some great footage back then.
Thank you, man.
So at some point then, you said you moved to LA.
Yeah.
How was that? You were street skating, right?
Yeah, I was 17 years old, just graduated high school, because the whole plan was to move to Los Angeles even when I was 14, 15. And my parents always told me, you need to graduate first, you need to graduate first. And so I did online schooling in order to graduate before I should have, just to speed course up, you know what I mean? Yeah, living in Los Angeles, street performing on Venice Beach every day in Hollywood Boulevard.
What was that like?
It definitely, at a young age, it gave me experience with captivating a crowd, making sure that whenever I'm skating, my job is to kind of hook everybody that is surrounding in order to provide them entertainment, you know what I mean? Because at the time, that's how I was paying the bills, you know what I mean? Is that I was standing in Venice Beach on Hollywood Boulevard, and I had to form a crowd somehow, you know? And so just learning how to interact with past buyers and
So I'm guessing you met some interesting skaters while you were there.
Oh,
too.
100%. Yeah. Los Angeles skate community, man. Just Venice Beach community, and even the break dancers that were in the crew that I street performed with. You know, just all levels of talent and experience. You know, and it's really hard in this industry to find the balance between both, if that makes sense. And so yeah, it's a very open community, and it's very accepting in the regards of, if you have something that people want to see, you will be rewarded for it. Yeah.
So at some point, you're auditioning for Usher.
I am.
How did that come about?
Okay, so the Usher story is actually a very funny one to me. Basically, I took a trip to Venice Beach, right? And it was during COVID, to where it was kind of an uncertain time in terms of most people's living situations or career choices, paths, stuff like that, right? So I took a trip with some of my old skate buddies from back in the day to Venice Beach, and I ended up recording a video to an Usher song and posted the video. Video got 20 million views on Instagram, and he happened to be one of them. I was still in LA for that same trip, and I get a phone call from an unknown, like, restricted number, and it was Usher saying, like, hey, I would love to have a skate session with you if you want to come to the studio and, like, show me some stuff. And so I just
And you're like, nah, I'm busy.
I drop everything. The contract, I drop everything.
20 million views, I'm not going to get there.
Right. Here's the thing, though, man, is that it kind of happened in a moment of time where roller skating was so relevant and hitting the algorithm so hard on social media that once they saw the talent that I actually possess on that grand of a scale, it was, you know what I mean? It's clockwork. You know what I mean? It's so easy for people. Yeah, of course, man.
So really, you didn't even have to audition. Your audition was
kind of just got called
video.
in, and he was like, "Hey, let's do some steps and see if, you know, we have some chemistry in the studio, or at least on the skate floor together." And, you know, after our skate session, there was still some period of time of uncertainty to where I was like, wow, that was really cool, but man, I hope I make it. I hope he uses me, you know what I mean? And
so does he like to skate?
Oh man, he's been skating since he was he's been skating since before his first album.
Really?
Yeah, he's from Atlanta, and that was a pastime in Atlanta, and so that's what he grew up doing with his friends, is going to Cascade. Yeah. So there's a lot of history in it with him, and he just was at a point in his career, especially starting his Las Vegas residency, where he just needed to implement as much true culture that comes with Usher, you know? Yeah, man, a blessing.
That's
I
awesome.
think that's authentic from watching the videos, and I think that's the best part about watching you skate, is what comes from it. It's magic.
Thank you.
That's only part 1, okay? There's going to be part 2. There's more to the interview, all right? Next time on the second episode, you'll see part 2 of Darian's interview. Feel better?
That was so soon.
It was. But there's more, trust me. But we got to end this or people are going to lose attention. So tune in next time for Darian part 2. But we also want to mention real quick.
Adult skate night starts at 8 and it goes to 11 o'clock p.m. on Tuesday.
In Chandler. I had him say that because the last time I tried, I couldn't get the numbers straight. Now, if you want to see the full interview, that's also going to be available. We're going to have a second YouTube channel. As we're recording this, we don't have it up yet, but hopefully by the time you see it, we will. So go down to the description and you should find a link there if Marcus does his job. And then I think we're going to have an Instagram page, right? And that link should be down there if you do your job. So go to the link and see if Marcus has done his job, okay? If not, send any hate mail to him. What else? Oh, subscribers. We do want subscribers in all seriousness. And the button's either like here or there. I'm not sure, but you can find it. But please do subscribe. We really, really appreciate it.
Help us grow. Roger loves to keep the roller skating going. I want to keep the roller skate story going.
There you go. We are out of here. Thanks.